This is English shorthand dictation number 82 and the dictation speed is 160 words per minute. Ready? Start. Mr. Chairman, sir, the resolution that has been placed by my honorable friend before the House is a very limited resolution. It is meant only to fix the method of representation in this assembly for the representatives of the states and not to deal with the innumerable problems which the states have in common with the rest of India. The learned members who spoke before me mentioned the case of one or two states where political struggles are going on. Obviously, this committee will have nothing to do with the internal structure of the states. I hope that this matter will have to be considered by us when the representatives of the states come. We can confer with them and discuss and settle these matters. Presently, we have only to consider the method of their representation. The amendments that have been moved in regard to members of the depressed classes or the Adivasis seem to ignore the fact that we are only considering this limited problem. Obviously, the depressed classes have their particular interests to be protected, but that question does not come in before this committee because this committee represents that part of India which is not the states. This committee will meet the representatives of the rulers. I think there should have been representatives of the peoples of the states on the negotiating committee. Even now, I think that if the negotiating committee wants to do the right thing, it should include some such representatives. But I feel that we cannot insist upon this at this stage. Unless we appoint a committee to negotiate this matter, the proper representation of representatives of the states may not be secured. Therefore, in this resolution, we have said not only that we shall meet the negotiating committee set up by the Chamber of Princes, but also the representatives of other states who are probably not included therein. As I have already explained, the object of our meeting them is to ensure a proper method of representation of people of the states. If you try and think of the states as they are, you will see that apart from some states which are big, there will be many small states whom we may have to get represented by doing some kind of grouping or some other way of representing them, because for each state we may not be able to give one representative. Just see how many states there are and how many will be required. States like Hyderabad and Kashmir will get adequate representation on the population basis. Some of the big states may get 2, 3 or 4, but most of them just barely 1. Many of them may not even get that 1. We may have to group them or devise some method. These are our problems. Apart from these, no other problem affecting any particular class or even affecting the internal structure of the states will come up before this committee. Those problems will have to come up before this assembly at a later stage when the representatives of the states are also here. I submit that the question of any communal, provincial or state group coming into this committee will not arise. We should take competent men who are here. But in this particular matter, you cannot enter into group representation, because if we do, there is no particular reason why we should deny that representation to the many separate interests that exist here. If you take the Travancore state, thinking only on religious lines, you will find a very great part of the population of the state consists of Christians. Now, Travancore is a very important state, the people of which have often come into conflict with the government authorities. Kashmir, of course, is another important state. In this way, you will get into enormous difficulty if you are going to think of people being represented on a communal basis in this small committee. Obviously, this committee ought to be a small committee because it will be very difficult to deal with the representatives of the rulers if it is a large committee. This committee should not be formed on the basis of separate interests, as suggested by some people. Now, Mr. Jaipal Singh Munda made a statement from which I beg to differ, and that is that the States People's Conference is not taking sufficient interest in the Orissa states. The States People's Conference has not done all that it should do because the problem is a vast one. But as a matter of fact, the Orissa states have been frequently before the States People's Conference, and one of our members of the Standing Committee of the States People's Conference comes from there. Some of the amendments moved by other members say that this final authority should remain with this House. They agree, however, to withdraw them if the chair could give a ruling in this matter. I have no doubt in my mind that the final decision on such matters should vest in this House, and that this committee should only be a negotiating committee, that it should negotiate and report to this House. If this House does not agree with anything that they have done, they have got to go back and negotiate still further. Of course, in all such matters, a certain discretion is given. For instance, if you do give a large measure of authority to your plenipotentiaries to go and negotiate with other countries, the countries have got a right to accept or reject. But normally speaking, when the representatives of two parties come together and discuss a matter and come to an agreement, unless a vital principle is involved, the agreement is accepted because third parties are concerned in it. That will apply to our case also. This resolution contemplates three bodies, that is, a negotiating committee set up by this House, another negotiating committee set up by the princes whose names have been announced, and a third committee consisting of other representatives of the states. How are these bodies going to function and to reconcile differences? Supposing the princes take up one attitude and other representatives of the states take up a different attitude, how are they going to work? If I may reply to my honorable friend, that is exactly the purpose of this resolution. If there are differences of opinion between various representatives of the states, we know that differences of opinion will exist in this assembly between various sections of the people of India as well as states and the people of British India. This resolution proposes to set up a body in which we have confidence, and it will deal with the representatives of the states who have been elected or selected to a negotiating committee. It is precisely because this House cannot be expected to enter into negotiations with the rulers and representatives of the peoples of states, and that is why this small committee has been proposed. Mr. Chairman, sir, I am here to support the resolution as it stands and oppose all the amendments that have been moved. Most of the points have been made by speakers who preceded me, and I am not going to repeat them. I want to draw the attention of the House to one particular factor, and that is the limit within which this committee is expected to work. In doing so, I would like to draw the attention of the honorable members to the exact wording in paragraph 19 of the Cabinet Plan. You will be pleased to observe that this committee is to enter into negotiation with the negotiating committee which has already been selected by the states or is likely to be selected. It is very likely that the word selection will have to be interpreted in several different ways. The representatives of the states may probably place a different interpretation from the one we may put on it, and so on. So it is not good tying the hands of this committee one way or the other, or insisting on a particular method of representation. We must leave it to the negotiators. So I also submit that the amendment directing what the committee should do is out of order, because actually it negates the resolution as a whole. When we want a committee to act in a particular way, it will cease to be a negotiating committee, because it will have to carry out a predetermined dictate of our own. We cannot afford to antagonize many sections of the people of India. In spite of the feeling in this House that the representatives of the peoples of the states alone are entitled to speak to us, we will have to approach the subject cautiously, and this committee will have to work very cautiously. We should not prejudge or prejudice the issue at this stage, and the committee should be left to itself to determine what is the best method of attaining the object in view and serving the interests of the people of India India as a whole and those of the peoples of the states. If we want to comment on their decisions, there will be ample opportunity for this House to place our opinion before this House. So I submit that the House should pass the resolution and that the amendments moved should be withdrawn.